Okay, this is December 12th. This is the second episode of this day. Oh, Lordy. You know, that first round really took it out of me, but I was kind of being powered by 3 little milligrams of epinephrine. And a guy that used to produce enough epinephrine to kill a legion of Romans with little tiny butcher. I'm so sick of movies and stuff. Tonight I think I'm going to start criticizing movies and stuff like that. They keep showing these Roman legions with these giant broad swords, when in fact a real Roman sword was, okay, let me back up. A real Roman sword was the size of a butcher knife. That's it. Now, I want to continue on the fact that the sad fact that Donald Jerk-off Trump has no opposition. Just like in the last election, please, he was running against a total of 9 GOP and 3, if you include Libertarian, 3 other opponents. So out of a dozen opponents, he was the only one that wasn't a complete fucking retard. I supported him and until he started fucking up. You know what? I voted for Jimmy Carter because he didn't embrace Keynesian economics. Keynesian, Jeffrey Maynard Keynes, the flaming British homosexual who FDR just loved his ass and was the first to start spending money, borrowing money, to spend your way out of stagflation, which is the dumbest idea on this planet. Now, Jimmy Carter, you know, much like Andrew Jackson, made a promise, kept to it. He was a one-term president. And, you know, most of you fucking homos, all you remember is that he failed to get the Tehran hostages. Jimmy Carter wasn't responsible for the ordering or manufacture of a bunch of helicopters that didn't have sand filters for the desert. That's why that whole mission failed. He had it down airtight. But let me tell you what Jimmy Carter did do. He took over from Gerald Nixon's flunky, Dick Nixon's flunky, Gerald Ford, won the election and promised certain things. And he knew that we were right then, after the Vietnam War, which we all knew was going to end by 71, we knew we were going to enter into another period of stagflation, like after the Depression, which if you people who have any brains know, the Depression would have only lasted 1 year if the Federal Reserve Corporation had just increased, was it M1, M2, the money supply, because people began to hoard silver and paper money. Every expert, including Milton Friedman, a great Jewish brain, said that the Depression, and knew that we all know that my parents never suffered the Depression at all. They were farmers, they were ass-kicking, not one bit. When 1/3 of this county left this county, my father had 3 fucking jobs. Money-making motherfucker. Farming too. But the fact that the Federal Reserve Corporation, who knew from the banks, their flunkies, that 1/3 of the money supply had disappeared, that they didn't replace it within 1 year, was a failure of that private corporation. And then we went into stagflation until Franklin Delano Roosevelt embraced the mind of a flaming homosexual, English homosexual named Jeffrey Maynard Keynes, who thought it was perfectly fine to borrow money from people and spend money endlessly to get your way out of a stagnant economy and an inflationary spiral. No, you don't. Jimmy Carter, the first president I voted for, kept his word. Austerity in the White House. He cut White House expenses alone by fucking a couple of $1 billion. Dressed in flannel shirts, stuff like that. In 4 years, only went $59 billion in debt. Ronald Reagan, who followed him, went $59 billion in debt on day one. And at the last 2 years of Jimmy Carter's presidency, because I remember them very well, because I was doing great, because I was working for the feds doing something that you can't do and will not be recruited for. I was recruited. I didn't ask for the job. Almost every good job I've had, they recruited me. They were like, we like this guy. Actually, I was being paid as much as Jimmy Carter without the golden parachute, lifetime, and health insurance, etc. But on a daily basis, I made as much as Jimmy Carter. But Jimmy Carter, was it 78, 79, 78, decided his program was called Whip Inflation Now. It wasn't just inflation, it was stagflation. The industries were stagnant and inflation was rampant. And Jimmy Carter did one of the hardest things of all, which is guarantee that he never become president again. For the last 2 years, I'm going to get up here, because you fuckers weren't there. You millennials weren't there. You don't know fucking shit. Sick of you rat bastards. Every day, I just got through talking to several people. I was making business appointments and other appointments with my doctor. I keep talking to people every day that have no education, no historical perspective, no empiricism, which means that if you try to argue with me, I'll just fucking hang up. I'll call you a retard and hang up, just like most of the fucking Yankees that I talk to, or the young people I talk to, or the Californicados. You don't know shit, because I'm going to stop right here. I'm almost at 8 minutes. You know, just in the last week, I've had to deal with all this 9/11, jet fuel doesn't make steel melt. I'm sorry. I used to work at Brayton Field right over there, the largest fireman's training field in the free world, and shit like that, Texas A&M University. I showed you my receipts that proved that I was working there by the time I was like 14 years old. And I'm going to tell you, from first-hand experience, you fucking lab rats, you desk jockey engineers, that just small quantities, less than 500 gallons of jet fuel, can fucking make steel beams become semi-solid, distort, melt, and snap. And same with steel plates. So you people, you know, I love book learning, but you also got to have empiricism. You got to have first-hand experience with this world. And that's the only thing that'll really make you a winner in this world. And that's why Donald J. Trump is a retarded fucking loser. He's about to lead us into World War III. I see it coming. I'll talk about that later. I need to do some more research. But already my subconscious is telling me that it's blocking out from me, which is the next step financially, with all the trust, the equities, the private banking systems, the British Empire, Caymans, Bahamas, City of London Incorporated Bank. Your next step, the only thing you got left is a nuclear exchange, and then quickly the brief devaluation of any equity or properties, and followed by the rebuilding and the rapid regrowth of explosion of population, which has happened after every fucking war in history. Wars don't eliminate population, they increase it. War is so sexy. Let me say that again for the people. I've repeated it over and over again because they talk about war and all this shit, and yet they've really never been there. War is so sexy. More people are born during war and immediately after war, all throughout history. Wars only increase the population. Oh, God, I think I need a cigarette. And a swig of wine. Anyway, it's nice to be outside. Yeah, I'm doing a little break off here. I'll review what I said before and come back to it about Donald Trump being a fucking complete retard. Listen, have you heard Donald Trump call for cheaper, like I said before in the last video, have you heard for Donald Trump calling for cheaper luxury hotels? No. He wants cheap oil and gas so people can get to his business, which just proves he's part of the fucking robber baron crowd. In the future, near future, I'm going to explain Eisenhower economics to you. I'm going to make several videos explaining Eisenhower. Actually, I'm rather fond of LBJ too. You'll find I'm not a partisan politician. I'm all about analyzing the person and what they do and what they say, what they deliver. My wife's great-great-great-great-grandfather, Andrew Jackson, delivered on his promise to pay off the national debt and close the privately owned central bank, the second United States bank. And they loved him for it. I think he spent his second term just sitting around drinking, because he kicked some ass. But Donald J. Trump, I'm sorry, dude. Between your followers are fucking, even the bitches are fucking like little Hitler, Nazi bitches. By the way, Larry Breivers over at the Super Walmart on Briarcrest, right next to all the Republicans and shit like that, 63 people have already, they sent me the email the other night, 63 people have already agreed with me that you're a psycho, and your mother or aunt or whatever that was dressed in that MAGA red, that attacked the Jew guy, you're a bunch of fucking psycho, retarded fucking losers. The staff you picked, that whole fucking store clearly exists to cater to only the fucking spickaroos and niggers that keep their mouths shut, and then the loudmouth conservative Trump, Bush assholes that live right next door to it in a huge golf course, $1 million home area and stuff like that. It's fucking incredible. Yeah, I'm a little bit rambling, but I don't give a rat's ass. It's fucking great. It's like, right now, it's like 68 degrees. I don't even need this hoodie on. Look, everybody, little Texas hospitality. I can tell that a lot of you like me, listen to me on a regular basis. I'm not trying to go trending with a bunch of millennial losers. Come on back. I got more for you. I'll make 2 or 3 videos tonight at least and put them up. Come back, watch, listen, and learn from an old man. And I know I got a good education. And those of you that think that you're smarter than me, you're dumber than a bucket of meat. You got it? You're dumber than a bucket of meat.